All right, y'all. Everyone talks about this trend of making money online, but no one actually tells you the little steps or the playbook you need to actually achieve that. And so, my promise to you today is I'm going to walk you through the entire playbook that we've seen based off of the data of helping over 60,000 online entrepreneurs and creators actually build a business for themselves. And so, with that context, I want us to first visualize and take a second to imagine why this whole concept of making money online or just building your own online business could be the right fit for you. And there's really three concepts that I think are most important to think about. Is like, can I actually achieve this and would this be worth it? So number one is this feeling where the bills are easy, right? You're just like, oh, like, dude, we're good. And then on top of that, you love what you do. Like you genuinely actually get lit up by what you're talking about, what you're sharing, how you're helping people, whatever that is. And then lastly, and I think this is the end goal at the end of the day of why a lot of us decide to build a business, is the potential of having financial freedom, right? Which I don't think is actually about the finances. I think that's the medium to actually achieve what we want, which is time freedom, getting to do what you want, getting to be with your loved ones when you want to. And so this right here is the pipe dream. I can in no way guarantee you this whatsoever, but it is a potential outcome if you do two things from what I've seen personally with all the data. Number one is you have a clear playbook. You know exactly what you need to do to iterate and succeed. And then number two, you have an immense commitment to yourself and your success where you work insanely hard and you're super persistent through all of the schmuck that's going to come your way if you actually decide to start a business for yourself. But I will say on the other side, I am a success case, so I'm going to be biased, but I do believe it is really genuinely worth it because it really helps you maximize your full potential on this planet. So with all that being said, I want to give some context for today's goal. This is my promise to you, is you will learn exactly how to make your first $10,000. Like I will give you the literal playbook that everyone overcomplicates, what have you, and I'm going to give that to you through three specific lenses. Number one is understanding what value you have to give to the world. Right, so because we all have our own unique value and our own unique personality that actually has some sort of value in this world. So figuring out what our audience wants to buy from us, right? Whether that audience is in person or whether that audience is on social media, whatever that is. And then number two, you need to figure out how to productize that. So like literally, John, like, okay, I have this idea, like what is my product? Like what should I literally sell? Is that a course? Is that community? Is that in-person experience? Is that coaching? Like whatever it is, I'm gonna help you really clearly ascertain what that is. And then lastly, how to launch this in the easiest way, like the most non-stressful, most frictionless way possible. So with all that context being set, who is this random guy with long hair actually talking to you right now? And so this is my story here. I've got two sides to me. The one side came out of my immigrant story moving to the States. So I moved to the States with my single mom in the south of the United States when I was 6 months old. And in that process, you can imagine living in the South, growing up in the South, there weren't many people who looked like me. And so as a kid, as you probably well know, all you want to do is just fit in, right? And so there were tons of societal pressures around me to actually just succeed in life, right? Whether they were cultural around my mom and our family, and then also just being a kid who wanted to fit in, it's like, of course, you're going to go run to corporate success or some sort of achievement. And so I share this background of mine where I went to uni, I took on student loans, did 4-year school, and I cold called my way into a job on Wall Street at Goldman. And then I went off to private equity and then Stanford Business School. And I share all of these societal stamps of approval to say, like, there was this whole side of me that I did these things to achieve and fit in a certain way. But one thing you learn through all of these jobs here, where you do learn an immense amount about business, and I'm really grateful for it, but you also might learn that these jobs aren't necessarily for you. And I imagine some portion of this rings true with you if you're watching this, where there's some tick inside you who's like, I kind of want to do my own thing, or I kind of want to like feel this freedom and autonomy that might come with this role if I can actually be successful. And so there's a whole other side of me where I actually started my own TikTok because I was like, I want to test my own thing. And I'll tell you guys the journey of how I actually got to this kind of success and my mindset around it. But all of that has culminated into me now running a business called Stan Store. And so here at Stan, I got to update this. We just crossed $300 million like a year later, which is crazy how much we're making for people. It's awesome. But I run now a business called Stan, where we get to help the world's best creators. So whatever niche you're in, whether it's real estate, lifestyle and beauty, spirituality, tarot, yoga, like fitness, health and wellness. Like we just onboarded someone who just made $50K teaching guides on how to crochet. Like it just truly the coolest random niches out there you can think of, we help you build online. But basically through that process, what we do best at Stan Store is we help you make money online. We help you think about how do you actually get to building a successful business. And we do everything we can to actually be there for you along the journey. So all that being said, I know a little bit about this stuff. I promise you, like, this is what we live, sleep, and breathe. And so I want to give context though on, like, of course it wasn't always this way. Like, cue sad corporate John. So this is me 4 years ago, way less cooler hair, of course, but also wanting an income and a job that I actually liked. And this was the context of me probably being where you are in your shoes right now, of like, okay, what should I literally do? And so my journey creating content was actually during the depths of COVID, when we were all like doom scrolling online. I was watching TikToks and I was like, I could do some version of this. And I remember just asking myself, and this is the key mindset to learn, first of all, which I think is really, really pivotal to your success. I was like, what is some sort of value I could give to the world? Because our personal belief in how we run Stan and how we live our lives here at Stan is we truly believe in this mantra of give, give, give. Like, the more you're giving value in some way, in a very rational sense, I think you're more successful, because who wouldn't want to pay you for helping them solve a problem or helping them through some sort of thing? And so for me back in the day, I just asked myself, I want to do this thing. What can I make content on? Well, what's something that I actually care about? And for me, it was teaching other underrepresented kids how to get their first dream job. Because that was just literally my story. Like, I hustled. I cold called and networked so painfully to get this job on Wall Street. And I learned so much through that process. And it literally fills me up even just thinking about all of the people that would flood into the comments saying, like, holy shit, John, thank you so much for sharing your resume. I literally used the same exact template to actually get my first dream job. And so I started making all this content, of course, and it was really helpful. I was getting a lot of views over time because, by the way, your first few pieces of content and whatever you do, marketing, what have you, are going to flop and like not do well, but you will figure out the patterns over time. But as I started figuring out this content thing, I started asking myself, as the business guy that I was, how do I monetize? Like, this is the first time in my life where I get to be creative, right? Because I had mostly a STEM background, so I didn't really understand, like, how do you be creative? And then two, I was helping people. The last piece was like, okay, how do I make this a sustainable living so I can pay the bills? And so in that context, here we are figuring out how do I monetize. This then jumps into our first section here. That's really important. So this is to help you understand what is your value out there that you can give to people. And it really comes from this concept of becoming the brand. So we're in this age of the creator economy, of just the democratization of business, all these kinds of things. There's never been a better opportunity to actually build your own thing. Like, all the tools are out there. And so I want you to think about these questions here, which is, what are the top 3 to 5 DMs or comments I get from my audience, or I get from people in my life that are asking me about some sort of question, right? So you are some sort of expert in something. And I want you to think about what that is, and then what are the most standard questions people ask me about that? And that's, at some point, that is your ikigai. That is at the intersection of what you're really good at and also what you're really passionate about. And then I want you to think about what is, of all these questions I get, whether it's like, hey, John, like, I really want to get more flexible. Like, what's your favorite, workout or yoga routine to get to that flexibility? Or it's, hey, John, in my case, I really want to get my foot in the door with this one corporate company. How do I, like, literally get my first conversations in? Like, how do I even send a cold email? And I want you to think about, okay, how do I turn this answer into a product? And so I asked myself this question: what knowledge do I have that other people want? We all do. We all have our own story, and it's all unique to us. And that's our differentiation, by the way, right? Escape competition through authenticity. And so the very first version of Stan I actually built, this was my original. It doesn't look very pretty, but it got the job done for sure, was I had a digital product, I had a course, and then I had a coaching call. So anyone, as soon as they went to my link in bio, which is the Stan store, the first version, they could immediately transact anything. And so this resume here, y'all saw this in the prior video. I was just green screen with my resume. I literally uploaded my resume into my Stan store and just started selling it for $10. And that's how I made my first 5 figures, was just like literally selling my resume template, because it was so authentic to my content. It was just like, hey, I'm going to help you do this. By the way, if you want an easier way to just start your resume, you want to use mine, you can just buy it in my Stan store. Point being is, there's all these little things, if you start thinking about it, there's all these little things that you can start to monetize of your own skills, of your own experience, and turn that into a business. And that's the really cool insight behind why you're doing what you're doing today and like what you're starting to explore. So with all that being said, what are all the different products or services you should sell? Like, what is actually worth your time? And so the very first thing that I can share with very high conviction that you can do is some sort of coaching. Right? So we've seen this be the easiest way to get started and make your first 6 figures, where a lot of people are going to come in and do coaching for literally anything, right? So it's business coaching, health and wellness and fitness coaching, right? You're just basically someone's personal trainer, marketing coaching, hairstyling coaching, Coin collecting is an absurd one that I saw the other day. And then also dog trading. Like we see a bunch of virtual dog traders on Stan, and then also social media expertise. But one of my favorite examples of this is Eddie Abu, right? Eddie Abu's in his 60s. He just recently crossed £1 million+ on Stan. I think I gotta upload this. Yeah, he's actually at 2 million, I want to say. But specifically, he's just coaching people, seniors specifically, on how to lose weight. It's just like his expertise, and he's coaching in some way. And so immediately as you think about what you can start immediately offering is a one-on-one booking or what have you, to actually work with you in some way, just for you to help other people through their journey that you've already been through. Then the other thing to think about is like a more scaled form of coaching, which is what we call consulting and audits. And so one of my favorite ways to do this is called an Ask Me Anything. Basically, someone can purchase something from you, let's say $20 or $25, for you to send them a personalized video or a document auditing whatever they have that you're an expert in, and you can give them feedback. And this is a really easy way to monetize your DMs and also make your audience members day, because they're getting a personalized video from you. And so I love Stylist Social as an example here. He's made over 300K on Stan, specifically doing an audit of people's TikToks and social medias. So basically all people do is they send in, $49, they send in their profile, and Tyler, being an expert in social media, will just sit there and be like, okay, so these are the 4 or 5 things that I noticed. I think you can improve your hooks. I think you could actually improve your watch time retention if you do this. There's actually a trend idea that I think you could do, or a series that you could do that I think would do really, really well. She's built a really massive business off of this alone. Now, beyond that, you also want to start thinking about more scalable sources of income. So I love an ebook or a guide as that starter entry product. This is some sort of beginner one-on-one guide. You're going to price it between $5 and $50 here. And in that process, basically, this is going to be your ability to take all of your knowledge and digitize it, because we want to do something that's scalable, right, over time. So whether it's a fitness one-on-one guide, a recipe guide, some sort of guide to success. And Celine Camarillo, Milkmaid Farm, is one of my favorite examples, because y'all wouldn't guess how much she's made off of teaching people how to make sourdough bread. This is literally just an ebook on like her recipes, 300K. And so I hope y'all can start to recognize, like, there's so many ways to monetize your knowledge, your expertise, like you as a person. It's just about creating those products and SKUs. Now, you can evolve to courses over time, which are higher ticket. There's like video modules, all that kind of stuff. You can price a lot higher. The concept is the same, right? Ange here sells a course on how to actually do user-generated content and build a living that way. She's made tons of money off of this. And I gave you a bunch of other examples, but one of my favorites here that we all actually have, I would argue we all have immediately. So we can all immediately start coaching, and then I want you to remember this because it's my favorite. Because also the most authentic. It's one of the best sellers on Stan. Basically, there's some sort of tool out there that you've built for yourself that you use for your own process that I bet you someone else out there would find valuable. What do I mean by that? So specifically, I'll give the example of Carrie. So Carrie's username is Motherboard Press online. She teaches other moms how to stay sane running a family. And at some point, she built a planner for herself, a digital planner. And it was just like how she's very open about, she has an ADHD diagnosis. She's got a lot going on. Basically, how can I actually figure out how to stay sane and take care of my family? So I just built this planner, and she uploaded it to her Stan store, and just quickly in her first few months, she's made over 50K. And so there's some sort of template you have, some sort of spreadsheet, some sort of document, some sort of checklist, whatever it is, you can actually just upload it into your Stan store and start monetizing that as a template. So with all that being said, how do we actually make this a reality, right? We've talked about all the concepts. The gap between your success right now at this point, because you have the knowledge of what to do next, is how do we make this a reality, right? This is the place we all get stuck, because we're all like, oh, every year we're going to set these goals, what have you. And then we don't actually do them. Actually do these goals. Do these goals. I promise you it's worth it. You'll learn a ton as a worst case. So in this process, how do we launch a product? So for example, for coaching, how do you get started today? Right now, you need some sort of scheduling tool to match with your calendar, make sure you're not getting double booked, all that kind of stuff. But then on top of that, you need to process payments, you need to send invoices, all this kind of stuff. And then also you need a sales pitch on top of that. It's a lot, right? So this is the old way. This was what I started with before I started Stan. So now I'm going to show you the easiest way possible to do this and why I built Stan in the first place for myself. And then all my creator friends, and then now we've got this whole business that we're helping all these people on. So I'm going to walk you through the process of starting a business on Stan. So basically, this is your Stan portal. You'll see your store here. And let's say this was completely blank. This is just a demo page of mine. Let's say I wanted to start offering a calendar booking to offer coaching in some way. All I would have to do is click this big purple button here. I'm going to click, out of all the options, I'm going to click coaching call. And then here, all I need to do to set stuff up is you'll see this little guide here on like what your current product looks like. And you can just type whatever. So book a coaching call. Whatever it is, whatever you want to coach. You can change your photo, all that kind of stuff. And then you'll note here, everything updates to the right. And I can just go through this process and change my pricing. For example, I believe I'm worth $99 for my first few folks. I can add a discount code, payment plans, all that kind of stuff. And then through this process, I can change the sales page. Let's say, so this is the sales page here. I can be like, hello, everyone. But you'll see that this all auto uploads. And then the last piece here is like, we talked about the scheduling tool, all this kind of stuff. It's like all this tech that's really painful. This is my process. Basically, we integrate with whatever schedule you have. So you can connect your Google Calendar, whatever it is, and I can set my availability. Let's say I don't want to work Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I have something, and then I want to start later on Thursdays because I already have an appointment. Then from here, literally all I'm going to do here, y'all, I'm going to press publish, and it's going to upload here. And this is our demo, right? Let's look at this. So this is literally my live stand store on desktop. It looks different on mobile, as you see here. And look at this. What is this? It's our $99 coaching call, which right now, as of this moment, literally anyone online can book. So this is auto uploading, and then we're done. Notice, remember, I took away Tuesdays, Wednesdays. And so now I can book anytime on this day. I fill it in, I put in my credit card as the client, and on the other end, Stan's gonna send an automated email receipt to your client and also automatically send your scheduling booking on both people's calendar. So that was the whole process behind actually building your own online store. Like that was it. That was timing-wise 2 minutes with me talking through that. So this is how you start online. This is just how you start making money online. Is you just throw up this stand store, throw up this form basically. Now, beyond that, of course, that's just for coaching. So the question becomes, how do you do this for digital products or courses or all these kinds of things? Well, you need a sales page, you need a payment processing platform, you need to figure out, okay, if I want to do an ebook, then I need to put it online, and then I need to like make sure people can access it, but also only the right people can access it, all this kind of stuff. Once again, interesting. So let's do a digital product really quickly, just so you'll see how easy this is. So I'm gonna go here. We still got my coaching call. By the way, I can like unpublish this if I'm not ready and like save it as a draft, or I can delete it. But let's go and add a new product. Let's do a digital product here. Let's say I'm a fitness guy. So I'm gonna like get ripped biceps now. Once again, I can upload a photo of like ripped biceps if I actually had any. But point being, let's go to checkout page, and all we have to do, once again, we set a price. By the way, we can add a discount price. Let's say I want to discount it for $4 right now. I'm gonna upload a file here. And then all I'm gonna do here, y'all, is I'm gonna press publish. And then boom, right there, get ripped biceps is now on my stand store. If I reload it, it's right there. All I have to do as the customer now is once again, put in my payment information, then press purchase, and that file immediately gets sent to me as your customer. And so this here is Stan Manifest. And so y'all, back in the day, you had to have a web of a storefront and a website, a course hoster, a link in bio, an email marketing platform, a calendar platform, digital product platform, a community platform, all this stuff. And it costs you hundreds of dollars a month. Basically what Stan does, why I exist doing what I do, why my team does what we do, is because we offer all of this for just $29 a month. More importantly, it's super hassle-free and really easy to do. That's what we're actually most proud of. But also, like, the immigrant kid in me is like, dude, you got to get a good deal. Like, there's no way I could in my bones, force someone to pay for, like, additional course hosting for $100. Like, no, dude, it's just software. It's just marginal code scaling. Like, no, this is $29 a month, and we're incredibly proud of how easy and simple this is. So this is why I do what I do. This is our actual product, and this is how we can help you. And so there's 3 basic questions I have for you as you think about taking this leap. So number 1, do you want to save hundreds of hours of hassle on the tech? Like, do you not want to spend all your time being like, why isn't this working? Number 2, do you want to save thousands of dollars a year and make doing this journey, taking this leap, as easy as possible and affordable as possible? And then lastly, do you want to be supported the whole way through? Like, do you actually want some help and guidance because this is a fucking hard journey? So with all that being said, I've got a one-time offer for you right here. So if you think about just the cost of all the subscriptions you'll need to get started, probably going to be $500 plus per month, by the way. Then on top of that, you're probably going to want some coaching and guidance, all that kind of stuff. It's $400 plus in value, at least. People are like so expensive around this stuff. And then lastly, you're going to need some sort of guidance around this stuff, right? Like, I want some knowledge on this. Like, how do we actually, like, I want to learn from the experts. Like, how do I do this as fast and efficiently as possible? And so all that stuff costs thousands of dollars usually to ramp up. But we are no longer in those times, right? We are in times of Stan, we are in times of the creator economy, we're in the times of YouTube University where you can basically learn anything for free online. And so as you think about doing this journey here, this is the offer we have for you. If you join with this referral link right here, we'll offer all of this completely inclusive of the Stan subscription. So for just $29, not only will you get all of the software, but you'll get my entire team anytime you want. You can email us literally anytime you want because we can track your referral link code. and actually sit here and say, hey, I actually need more help doing this, or hey, how do you think about this, or hey, can you analyze my content, or hey, can you actually analyze my traffic and help me figure out how do I actually grow this or that, or I'm really struggling with this, or like I don't like software, can you actually do this for me? Like, dude, we got you. Like, this is the fun of it for us. Like, we live and breathe this stuff. And on top of that, you'll get all the access to all of our archives, our Creator MBA course, all that kind of stuff, all for just, let me move myself, I'm getting in the way, just $29 a month. And so for that being said, I will wrap this by saying, like, I've done this before myself. I came from very, very little. I can not at all promise you that you will be successful in this. And so with all of that being said, I can tell you with full certainty that this journey is possible, right? Like, I came from very, very little. And the thing about the internet and all these algorithms nowadays is that with just giving value, with creating good content, with figuring out how to get traffic for yourself, there's never been an easier time to start a business. And I can never guarantee you whatsoever that you will be successful in this. Truly, I can't. But what I can guarantee you is if you just take these really simple concepts I taught you here today, and then you have a deep commitment to yourself where you never, ever give up, because fundamentally, if you never give up, you'll never lose, and you just keep iterating every day, you will find some version of success. And on a personal level, what I can promise you is my team and I work day and night obsessing over how to make this as feasibly accessible as possible to everyone as possible and as affordable as possible. And so if you are ready to take the leap, we'd love to have you join Stan. My promise to you is 100% money back guaranteed, refund anytime. Truly, if you're not getting value from Stan, just email us literally anytime. Give us the context and I will make sure the team cancels, refunds, everything. Like, we don't want your money unless you're truly happy and also successful. Like, this is what we're doing. This is why we do what we do. And so with that context, I truly don't think I can give you a better and more affordable offer to get started. And so I am really, really excited for you to make this leap. And please, by the way, I'm a real person, DM me anytime. Truly, if you watch this and you actually start your journey, shoot me a DM. I would love to personally hear from you. You can ask questions, ask for advice, whatever is actually most helpful to you. I'm super happy to help. So I'll see you guys on the other side and talk soon.